Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Texas Association for College Admissions Counseling Virtual College Fair. We have an excellent lineup of colleges for you to hear from this evening. But before I turn it over to them, I do have a couple of housekeeping items for you. My name's Courtney and I'm your facilitator tonight. This is a webinar and your camera and your microphone are off. So our panelists cannot see or hear you this evening, but they do know that you're going to have some questions. So feel free to use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen so that you can type out your question and also note the college or university that you're directing your question to so that they can answer it appropriately. Next, this is a really fun way to learn about colleges and universities. Maybe there's one that you're really excited about and heard a lot about already, but you're also going to be exposed to new and different institutions that maybe you hadn't considered before. So there's even two more hours of these programmings after this evening. So there's still time to sign up for more sessions. Lastly, this is recorded this afternoon and will be available for playback at strivescan.com/Texas. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our first presenter. You're first going to have the opportunity to hear from Temple University, Japan campus. Take it away, Andrew, whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Andrew. I'm an admissions counselor here at Temple University, Japan campus. I'll give you a very quick introduction to our institution. So Temple University originates actually in Philadelphia. That's where our main campus is based. It's a huge comprehensive public research university in Philadelphia of around 35,000 undergraduate students, 150 majors. And Temple University Japan campus, or TUJ as we like to call it, is simply an extension of that school, an international branch campus in the middle of Tokyo, Japan. So that means that we are working towards a Temple degree, exactly the same as our students are doing in Philadelphia. And we teach entirely in English. It's a very important point to get across at the beginning. You don't need to be fluent in Japanese before you arrive at the university, but you can certainly start learning the language once you get here. As I mentioned, our main campus is in Philadelphia. We have our campus in Japan, obviously, where I'm based. Temple also has a campus in Rome, Italy. So you can come and do a full 4-year undergraduate degree with us here in the Japan campus. But some of our students like to take the opportunity of spending some time on the other campuses as well, maybe doing a study abroad semester in Philadelphia, an academic year in Rome, or maybe splitting their degree up by doing 2 years in Japan and 2 years in Philadelphia. That's possible as well. Now, focusing on our Tokyo location, we're very lucky to be located in the heart of the city of Tokyo. We're not on the outskirts, we're right in the middle, a great vantage point to go and explore cool places like Shibuya, Shinjuku, Roppongi, which are real central hubs of the city. All of these places are located within 15 to 20 minutes of our campus. And we're very lucky that Tokyo has probably the world's safest and most reliable public transport system, specifically the train network. It interconnects Tokyo. It makes everything very, very accessible. And I certainly encourage all of our students to take advantage of this and explore this amazing city when they're at TUJ. Now, in terms of your student experience, I mentioned at the beginning how we're similar to our main campus. Where we differ mainly comes down to the size. So whereas they have 35,000 undergraduate students, here at TUJ we have 1,400. So we're a very small, close-knit community. You're going to get to know your classmates and faculty really, really well. In terms of your classroom experience, our average class size is around 20 students per class. So classes are very interactive. And in addition to your regular lecture and tutorial style classes, we like to add a practical experience to your education. One of the main components of this is our internship program. We have a huge portfolio of companies that students go and do credit-bearing internships with. It could be a Japanese company, for example, like Mitsubishi, working for the international office of a company like Amazon, for example, the American Embassy, various NGOs. Again, we have a huge portfolio of different internships students can do. And then outside of your studies, we have a very extensive activities program where students not only have the opportunity to take part in different cultural workshops, explore Tokyo, but go and visit other places in Japan, whether you're going skiing in Hokkaido, for example, or going down south to visit the hot springs. We try and offer this immersive experience in Japan, in addition to your high quality education. In terms of our student body, it's very diverse. We currently have around 65 different nationalities studying with us here at the university. And that diversity is also reflected in our faculty, with faculty from all over the world coming here to teach at TUJ, including a number of professors from our main campus coming to teach each year here in Japan. Now, being a small campus, we focus in on 10 undergraduate majors, mainly in the liberal arts field, with majors like international business studies, communication studies, international affairs, art, and of course, Japanese being some of the more popular majors. You can double major, you can major and minor. For example, a very popular combination might be something like international business studies major with a minor in Japanese. Now, we're actually the oldest foreign university campus in Japan. We've been here for nearly 40 years. Actually, next year will be our 40th anniversary. But in 2019, we reached a huge milestone for the university by moving into a brand new campus. This is a purpose-built facility for TUJ. We're located next door to Showa Women's University, which we've set up this amazing collaborative partnership where students have access to a number of facilities over at that university as well, including their cafeteria, library, student common spaces. And we're excited to see how this great collaborative partnership grows as we settle into our new space. One of the big advantages for us being an international branch campus is we can offer a lower tuition rate than our main campus. Annual tuition comes in at approximately $15,000 per year. It's still a large amount of money, we recognize, and there are ways you can help subsidize these costs. You are able to use FAFSA in our Japan campus. We do have a number of merit-based scholarships that you can apply for. And you are able to work part-time in Japan. We do have a number of jobs on campus, but majority of our students are going to be working off campus in, for example, restaurants, retail, English language tutoring. There's a number of different opportunities for students in work. A quick look at the application process. It is very simple. You can start using our online application form. You can also find TUJ on the Common app as well. It is rolling admissions. Once you complete your application, you'll get your decision in approximately 4 weeks. Applications are open now for our fall semester. You should be aiming to complete by March 1st if you want to be considered for a scholarship. We have a number of events going on online at the moment as well, including a number of sample lessons. We have a meeting with our students on Monday, where they'll be talking about the various clubs and activities that they do here at the university. So if you're interested in those events, please go and do check out our website. Thank you very much for your time today, and I hope to be able to speak to some of you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew, to you and Temple University Japan campus. Audience, please don't forget to put those questions in the Q&A. You don't have to wait for a particular presenter in order to address those questions or order to write those questions in. So next up, I have the pleasure of introducing to you the University of British Columbia. Take it away, Nathan, whenever you're ready.
All right. Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for being here. My name is Nathan. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm an associate international student recruiter and advisor here at the University of British Columbia in Canada. And I'm really excited to be here today to hopefully help you figure out whether or not UBC will be a good fit for you. So to start things off, I'd like to do something called a land acknowledgement. Our two campuses are located on the traditional territories of two Indigenous nations. Our Vancouver campus is on traditional, ancestral, and unceded Musqueam territory. And on our Okanagan campus, we respectfully acknowledge the traditions and customs of the Syilx Okanagan Nation. And I think that these acknowledgements really help to form, and the action that comes with it really helps to form a foundation for UBC's values. So I'd like to talk a little bit about those now. So at UBC, we have a really incredible, diverse community. We're the most international university in North America, with over 18,000 international students ranging up to 166 different countries. So this means that when you're at UBC, you're learning from your professors, but you're also learning from a vast array of cool experiences that other students have. And I think that that's a really important part of the learning that can take place here. And that's, of course, just one way to think about diversity. Everyone comes with their own unique experiences and identities. And we work really hard at UBC to make sure that this community feels welcome and safe and supported. Another one of our values is to have a global impact, and sustainability is a huge part of that. So our climate action plan aims to completely eliminate our greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2050, but that's just one piece. I think that having net zero buildings and innovative water management systems and having farms on campus that help to produce local produce that are served in our residence dining rooms are just many ways that we think about our campuses as living, learning laboratories. So how can we live more sustainably and share that with the world? So always having that global reach. And then thinking about academics, what makes this a good place to learn? For some context, there's over 25,000 universities in the world, and UBC is proud to be in the top 40 research universities worldwide. So a really high caliber research institution with lots of really great ways to really get actively engaged in your learning, including research, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. 98% of our professors have their PhDs, and the other 2% are industry professionals. So you know that whoever you're learning from, they're going to be well qualified and really good experts in their field. And when you graduate from UBC, you'll be coming away with an internationally recognized degree, and one where people will know you've been challenged and prepared well for the world wherever you go next, whether that's to continue your studies somewhere else or to go and work internationally. In terms of where we're located in the world, of course, we're here in Canada, in the province of British Columbia, out on the West Coast. It's a really beautiful place to live with vibrant culture, really diverse places, and limitless opportunities to get outdoors, which is something that I personally really love. We're one university, but we have 2 campus experiences, Vancouver and Okanagan. But no matter which campus you go to, you're still getting that same world-renowned degree. You can see where we're located here, just out on the West Coast. We'll start things off with our Okanagan campus, which is located next to the city of Kelowna in the interior region of British Columbia. It's a really beautiful place to live with hot summers, cold winters, year-round adventure opportunities, whether that's skiing or hiking or snowboarding, mountain biking, really cool place to live. The campus itself is located about a 20-minute bus ride from the downtown core of the city, and it's got about 10,000 undergraduate students. So a really tight-knit, close learning community, but still a mid-sized campus on a North American scale. The Vancouver campus is located next to the city of Vancouver, which is a major metropolitan city right on the Pacific Ocean. It's the 3rd largest city in Canada, and the Vancouver campus is the larger of the 2 with about 46,000 undergraduate students. It's about a 30-minute bus ride outside of the downtown core of the city, but really well connected by public transportation. And you can get outdoors just as much in Vancouver as you can in the Okanagan, with the ocean right there, the mountains nearby, and so many great different international events, festivals, great food scene here as it is a major city. And then beyond the campuses themselves, and just thinking more about learning, I think that university is all about learning about who you are and following what interests you. And I hope that one thing you remember about UBC is that there's so many ways to make the most of your own unique individual experience. So we invest over $500 million into research projects every year. And first-year students are welcome to get involved with research in their undergraduate studies. You can also get work experience through things like co-op, where you take time away to do full-time and often paid work experience as part of your degree, or just work part-time to get a little bit more money to pay for your studies. We've got athletics teams that compete internationally at competitive levels, and lots of ways to connect with new people and the things you're passionate about, with over 400 different student groups and clubs. You can also go to over 200 different international universities worldwide to do something like exchange or another global experience, to really take that global experience already and make it even more so. So that's a little bit about the UBC experience. I'd also like to touch on our application process. So you want to make sure you know what campus you want to apply to, what programs you're interested in, and make sure you meet the degree requirements for those programs. Our application is open, and you just need to make sure you submit the online application by January 15th. After that, you'll submit your transcripts and stuff later on. In terms of what we're looking for, grades are obviously important. We're looking at your whole high school transcript, but particularly at grades 11 and 12 in the courses that that are most focused on the area of study you're interested in at UBC. We also ask for something called a personal profile, which is a way for you to tell us more about who you are, what you care about, and what experiences you've had in life that have set you up for success in university. And our process is competitive, so you'll be evaluated against the other students who have applied to that same program each year. Also really important to be thinking about finances early on, as university is a significant investment. On the screen, you'll see the cost for an international student in their first year. It's going to be about $44,000 US, including classes, housing and food, and any other additional costs. But we also do offer $30 million per year in international student awards and scholarships. So there are lots of ways to get support there as well. That covers pretty much everything I'd like to share with you to start things off. Please let me know if you have any other questions, and take a live virtual campus tour.
Nathan, thank you so much to you and the University of British Columbia. Next up, I have the opportunity to introduce to you Bishop's University. Eric, take it away whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much, Courtney, and I'll just share my screen and then we'll get started here. So first off, I too want to start with the land acknowledgement. I want to acknowledge that Bishop's University is located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Abenaki people. My name is Eric Gendron, and I'm so excited to have the opportunity to speak with you guys today about a place that I and so many others like me consider to be like home. I'm actually from the US myself, from Boston, and decided to travel abroad to Canada to go to school. And so I'm so excited to talk to you about bishops. So we have this phrase here, be connected, be purple, be you. And I truly resonate with that because I believe bishops offers its students the ability to find who they are and what they're passionate about while they're here. We were founded in 1843, so we're actually older than the country of Canada itself, which I think is incredibly impressive and goes to show the long-standing quality education that we offer here. We also are an English language university. We like to distinguish that, seeing as we are in Quebec, which is largely a French province, but trust me when I say we are an English institution and all of our professors teach in English and all of our delivery methods are done in English. There are opportunities for reduced price courses in French though, which I'll talk about a little later on. We are a smaller community with 2,961 total students. I like to say that you can't walk more than 5 minutes down the road at Bishop's without running into 3 or 4 people you know. And that's something that our students, as well as myself as a former student, really love here, that everyone creates these unique relationships with both their peers and faculty members, unlike any other university, in my opinion. Additionally, for being a smaller university, we are relatively diverse, with 25% of our population being international, coming from roughly 80 different countries. The largest percentage of that population is from the US with 7%. And then 97% of our students live within walking distance of campus. So that is really unique to us as well, where it is almost like a purple bubble here in Lennoxville, Quebec, where it's very much our students that really make up the most of the town. And here's a few statistics about bishops. I won't go through them all because we'll be here all day, but I will highlight a few that I think are pretty special. One being our 24-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So we like to keep things personal and intimate. We believe that you should be getting the quality education that you're paying for. So your professors will get to know you, they'll know your name and who you are, and take an interest in not only just your education, but your life and who you are as a person as well. 40 students is the average class size for first and second year courses. So yet again, just keeping things close and personal, and you'll actually be learning from your professors rather than at a larger university where you may be taught by a teaching assistant or someone of that nature. And then also, although we were founded in 1843, we certainly don't look the same as 1843. We've done over $200 million in campus renovations in the past 10 years. So we continue to elevate our campus and take it to the next level. And then over 85% of our students come from more than 1 hour away. So truly everyone that comes to Bishop's really starts off in the same boat, where they start off a little bit not knowing and just kind of finding their way together, and you meet lifelong friends from all over the world. We are located in Sherbrooke, Quebec, as I mentioned. So we're about 10 minutes from Sherbrooke, the closest city to us. We're about 30 minutes across the US border. So pretty much right when you cross over that border, you're almost on our campus. And I love to highlight that we're 4 hours from Boston, seeing as that's where I'm from. We also are a liberal arts institution. So this is something that really drew interest from me when I was applying to schools, is that Bishop's help students find their passions, as I mentioned at the beginning, because we encourage our students to discover programs outside of what they think they might like. So for example, if you come to study psychology, we encourage you to take courses in education or business or something of that nature, or history, just really expanding your options and seeing what's out there, because we know it's a difficult decision to try and figure out what you're interested in majoring in or studying. And then our admission requirements. So we require an overall average of 80% or 3.5 out of 4 GPA or the equivalent. We don't require any SAT or ACT scores. We don't require personal essays, and we don't require teacher recommendation letters. However, I know coming from the US, you often have a lot of that stuff already. So you're totally welcome to pass those along to us. It's only going to enhance your application and increase your chances of getting a scholarship. And we also accept IB students with a minimum 30 predicted score. And then as far as tuition, we know that's important here as well. So we have a affordable tuition of $27,151. That's in Canadian dollars, and then it's around 21,000 US dollars. And for everything, meals, residence, everything included for a whole year, it's around 32,150 US dollars. So that's one of the major reasons why I decided to look to a Canadian education, was that affordability and the quality of education that you receive here. and you can apply directly on our website with the big purple Apply Now button, or we're also located on the Common App. That's actually how I applied, so I totally welcome those applications as well. And some important deadlines: as long as you apply by March 1st, I promise that you will be considered for all of our competitive or merit-based scholarships that we offer here at Bishop's, so there's no separate application for that. Our final deadline for application is April 1st, and then you have to make your decision as to whether you'll attend or not by June 1st, and then our residence application is due by June 15th. And you'll be guaranteed a room and residence provided that you get that application in by June 15th. And I just want to encourage you all to book a private tour with us. And I thank you so much for your time and for listening to me. Please feel free to shoot me an email with any questions you might have.
Eric, thanks so much to you and Bishop's University. I'd now like to invite all of our panelists to turn back on their cameras. I'm gonna ask you to share a little bit more about your institution, but then also tap into your expertise, not only as admissions professionals, but also expertise on informing students on studying at a university abroad. So let's start with sharing more about your institution. So we'll go in the same order that you presented originally. What is one thing that you really would want students to remember about your institution? It could be a fact, it could be one of your favorite traditions, whatever you'd like to share.
Yeah, I just probably want to re-emphasize again that we offer something quite unique. It's the only institution where you can come and study for an American degree, but do that in Tokyo, Japan. You'll be part of a close-knit community, again, of students from all different backgrounds, but you'll find very quickly that they'll share very common interests, a passion for Japan, its language and its culture. So you'll make friends here very quickly. You'll get to know our staff really well. Again, it's such a small school. There really is a close-knit community going on here. It's somewhere special. So yeah, that's what I would say for Temple University Japan Campus.
Oh, thanks. Tough to pick one thing, but I think I'm going to have to go with the aesthetic. No, I mean, there's a lot of great things about UBC, but if there's one thing to remember, maybe to look more into, it's just the beautiful natural surroundings here. British Columbia is an incredible province right by the ocean with the mountains. So if you like the outdoors, but you also want to live next to a great city, check out UBC.
As Nathan said, it's tough to pick just one, but if I were to pick something to remember about Bishop's, I would definitely say our community that we have here and how close our students are. We are actually rated #1 university in all of Canada for student satisfaction for the past 5 of 6 years. And I largely believe that's because of our close community that we have here. And I promise if you come here, you'll never be lonely, that's for sure.
So now I'm going to ask you, what's your best piece of advice for students looking to study abroad? And then your best piece of advice just in general. So let's go the study abroad route first, and we'll start with Andrew again.
I think for both of those questions, to be honest, is I would advise students to take advantage of all the resources that are out there. Many institutions have virtual tours that you can participate in. If you can travel to countries, you can do, participate in in-person tours. You can connect with students often online. They have, various portals that you can use to connect with admissions counselors, students, professors, doing sample lessons, doing, open campus visits. There's a variety of different platforms now that you can use to really get to know these institutions, even if you are unable to travel there in the beginning, and that will really help you make an informed decision as to whether that's the right fit for you in the future.
I love it. I really love the phrase right fit. I think it's so important to really go somewhere that feels like the right place for you. And hopefully today was a good chance to learn more about our places. But my advice for the international side is that no matter where you study in Canada, with a publicly funded education system, we invest a lot of money into post-secondary education. So pretty much no matter where you go for university in Canada, you're going to get a really high quality education. And Canada is a pretty welcoming place for people from around the world. That's something that we work really hard to be. And that's certainly one of UBC's values as well. So know that you'll be welcome here and have lots of people to connect with who might have very similar experiences to you.
that I really enjoyed Nathan's answer and Andrew's. I think both of those are great pieces of advice. The only thing that I would really add as an international student myself would be don't be afraid to reach out, because we're all resources. As Andrew said, we're totally available and love to answer questions and emails. I know as a 17 or 18-year-old, I was very nervous to speak to people and to actually send that email or to ask that question. But trust me when I say we're here for you and we're here to help. So it may seem a little daunting, the process of looking internationally, but just don't be afraid, take that plunge.
And so now we'll go backwards and we'll start with Eric first. What is your best piece of advice for students or families in the college search or college decision-making process?
This may sound a little corny or cliche, but it would be definitely to be unafraid to step outside of your comfort zone, because you may think you have one idea of the perfect college or what you have in mind as your ideal location. But in reality, once you start looking and you start kind of narrowing in on certain factors, you see that there's actually more options out there that might be the right fit for you. I know for myself, for example, I was looking at only exclusively large universities. I wanted 20,000 plus students, and I certainly didn't end up there. And I am so thankful I didn't, because I'm glad I let myself kind of explore outside of what I thought I might like. So definitely just be willing to kind of alter your perception of what you might want.
Love that. And along the same vein, sort of as having an open mind, I think that there can be a lot of myths, just like stereotypes about like universities. I can speak from experience with the University of British Columbia that like we're here to help students get in and we want to learn more about you. So don't be shy, like we're excited to get to know you. And at least one piece that I often like to share with people applying to UBC is that it's less about what you've done and more about what you make of what you do. And that's really a big part of the UBC experience, and it's reflected in our application process. So when you're applying to a university, maybe you haven't been able to be involved in as much as you'd like to be. Maybe you had family responsibilities. Maybe you went through a hard life experience that meant that you couldn't be on that sports team, or all sorts of other things. But think about the experiences you've had in life that make you unique. And if you have the opportunity to share that, show that reflection, show that thoughtfulness, show how that's going to set you up well for wherever you go. And no matter where you go, you can make the most of it. We of course want you to find the right fit, but have some open-mindedness and confidence in yourself, I guess.
Yeah, some really great advice from everyone here. I just had some practical advice on that. While we encourage you to, explore these different options, think out the box, and then while you're looking at all these different institutions, as you probably noticed today, we all have different or slightly different application processes, slightly different deadlines. So maybe you want to keep some sort of chart or a calendar, so you're marking down dates of when you need to get meet certain deadlines. So just trying to stay organized that way, maybe creating a college specific email to keep all that communication in one location. All those little practical things can help when you're doing your college application.
So are there any myths that you'd like to debunk about the college admissions process, selection process? And Nathan, do you want to start first this time?
Yeah, sure. I wish that I knew more myths, but one that I often get is that students think that I read their applications and that I'm like gonna decide whether or not they get in. And at least with my institution, that's not the case. I'm here to help you get in. And sometimes people in my position will be tasked with anonymously reading and evaluating applications. But for the most part, you don't have to be friends with me to get into UBC, I guess. Though that's not a problem to really have a good relationship and get to know folks who are university representatives. But at least in my case, that is a myth that maybe I would share.
Eric, do you want to go second?
Yeah, absolutely. I would echo that myth as well. I think people think that I am personally sitting down and reading every application as well, and I most certainly am not. I'm here to answer questions and to help you out and to kind of navigate that difficult process of, as Andrew mentioned, knowing all of those different dates and deadlines and requirements. And then another myth that I would definitely debunk would just be the fact that here in Canada, for the most part, we base a lot on your transcript. But that doesn't mean we solely go off of grades. That doesn't mean just because we don't require SATs all the time or personal essays or different things like that, doesn't mean that we don't take other things into account other than grades. We try to look at it holistically, and oftentimes our admissions department, if they're missing something, they'll reach out to you for sure if they're missing some part of your application. So you don't always have to worry about everything. They will do some of the heavy lifting on their part.
Nathan and Eric, maybe that myth came from, I don't know if it's US students that say that, because that is the case for a lot of US institutions where the admissions officer that a student meets at a college fair or high school visit is the person who reads their application. So it just depends, right? Sometimes it's the person and sometimes it's not. Andrew, any myths you'd like to debunk?
I think just in general, it's very easy for people to automatically think that the study abroad institution or the institution overseas is the more expensive option, or it's the more complicated option to apply for. That's really not the case these days. As you can see today, we all offer very competitive tuition rates. Our application processes are very similar to most US colleges. So I think the more research that you do and the options that you have now overseas, I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised.
And I would also add, like, this process can be fun. It's really, I know that a lot of students might be, the senior year is exciting and there's lots happening, and sometimes it can seem overwhelming because it's something that you've never done before, but it can also be really exciting, and it's certainly a transformative time in all of your lives. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. As you close out, there'll be a quick 5-question survey. We hope that you'll provide us with some feedback. Sign up for more sessions. I know you learned a lot this evening during this session, and there's 2 more hours coming up right after this. You still have time to sign up for more. This was recorded, and all the sessions tonight were recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/Texas. So everyone, have a great night, and we'll see you soon. Best wishes with your college search. Bye, everyone.